Like I did.
Good morning, everyone. Please stand. May we be blessed with the spirit of the season, which is peace, the gladness of the season, which is hope, and the heart of the season, which is love. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the meeting to order at 3 after 10. First thing we need to do is approve minutes from the previous meeting.
I'll move to approve. I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. At this time, any public comment on agenda items only? Seeing that there is none. I think what we will do first, we've got a number of guests with us today, and I think we're part of the Leadership Lycoming training series today, and we have the Leadership Lycoming class, and we'd like to start in the front. First of all, welcome you, and we're going to go through today's meeting and try to give you as much insight as we possibly can into county government and who the different people are that are presenting. So our presenters, we would ask that you please explain what you do for the county and your role in today's meeting. But before we get to that, we would like to start with our guest, and we'll start right here, and you can introduce yourselves and say whatever you need to say.
I'm Brian Hammer with Panda Patriot.
Landon Hodges, I'm with Steinbacher Goodall Your Chat.
Phil Allen with River Valley Health and Dental.
Mike Waslowski with Little League International.
Wendy Weaver of Weaver Wireless Communication.
Crystal Campbell with the Hampton Inn downtown.
Mallory Weimer with Lycoming College.
Trudy Miller with Community Services Group.
I'm April Shamlon with Hope Enterprises.
I'm Dawn Wright with UPMC.
I'm Liz White with McCormick Law Firm.
Hi, Dave Boyle with Geisinger.
Heather Shuey with Penn College.
Paige Bingham, Independent Financial Professional with WealthWave.
Miranda Kujawa with the Genetti Hotel.
Tyler Wagner with UPMC.
Kate Baker with Riverview Bank.
Jessica Probst, RVR YMCA. Hi, I'm Brittany Fisher with the Lycoming County United Way.
Hi, I'm Kim Beagles with Muncie Bank and Trust.
Mary Jo Westbrook with Lycoming County Children and Youth.
I'm Matt Pleggins with Port Elevator. Toby Schwartzman, James V. Down Library.
And I'm Alex Lehman, Leadership Lycoming Coordinator. Thanks for having us today. That's all of us.
Thank you, Alex. And it's great to see a very broad group of participating industry, business, and individuals. I will, commissioners, if they care to make opening comments.
My name's Rick Marabito. I'm in my first term, ending my first term as commissioner. I served 6 years in the House and the House of Representatives, came here to work for Judge Muir as a law clerk in 1989. I don't know if my colleagues are going to mention, but just quickly, we are both the legislative and the executive branch of government. And of course, the judicial branch is the third branch. But at the county level, the commissioners exercise a role both as a legislative branch and as an executive branch. So we will both pass resolutions or ordinances, which are enactments, and we will also appropriate and spend, as executives spend money.
Thank you.
It's great to see you all.
And before I start, we asked your group who was going to volunteer to sing God Bless America. Liz?
You don't want to hear that.
No, I'm Tony Massera, and I've been a commissioner for 8 years, and it's always a pleasure to have leadership like coming here. I do ask this question all the time. How many people were born and raised here in Williamsport or Lycoming County? And how many came from other areas? So it's incredible. And we like to ask, what made you attracted to Williamsport other than maybe your spouse being here? But why did you move to Lycoming County?
A job.
Don't tell-
Jobs.
Jobs? Okay. The program that you're in helps you understand our area better, and the people that, you're going to eventually represent and are representing. So, the program, Harry, how long have you been with the program?
Pretty close to 15, 16 years.
15, 16 years.
Yeah, Charlie and I have been hosting this too many, he says.
Okay. But it's always fascinating hearing from the young professionals out there in our community. And we want you to know that we want you to call us if there are issues that face our county. Because this is a pretty important seat, being a county commissioner. It's not like being down in Harrisburg. I only have to convince one other person to agree with me. That's pretty unique in government. So I welcome you and enjoy the meeting.
And I guess at some point today, we would have probably brought this up, but I'm going to mention it right now. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got 8 different boards that we've got positions. We've got about 17 positions, board seats that are open for various different boards that occur within the county, and we're hoping that we can get more leadership participation in filling these seats, because a lot of times the seats are hard to find. It's hard to find volunteers, and I'm hoping that we can work with leadership Lycoming, because I forget what the number of alumni are up to. Alex, what are we?
Almost 900.
Almost 900. So, when you have a pool, yes, ma'am.
Where do you go to find information about those boards?
Well, that's been our most recent conversation. Is we're going to try, because I happen to be a graduate of the first class in, I think, 1988, and I'm on the email, and I noticed early or late or mid-year this year that leadership was sending out information on boards that were open. So I'm hoping that our office will start to discuss a little bit more with leadership and get those opportunities out there, because when you've got 900 people that are possibly seeing an email on board seats, it's going to give us diversity and just a lot of eyeballs looking at the opportunities that are out there. So hopefully as these come available, you'll see more, and if you're interested, you'll just have to reply, and we'd certainly consider putting people on the boards. I guess before we move into the action items this morning, I have to. I'm surprised looking in the back road today that my daughter drove up here from Camp Hill with my grandson, and my wife is here as well. So that's a very pleasant surprise for me today, and I want to thank them publicly for coming today.
Are any of you elected officials at the township level, or? Well, in conjunction with what Mr. McKernan said about the boards, I would encourage you to think about running for any elected position, if you're so inclined, and not to, I think oftentimes, I'll be honest with you, when I came here in 1989, if you said to me that, one day you were going to be the county commissioner or state representative, I would have said, I doubt that. Not because of any reason other than it hadn't really been brought to my attention. I mean, I had a desire to do it, but I guess what I'm encouraging you to do is, a lot of you have been blessed and have worked hard to develop who you are, and you can give that back to the community in terms of leadership, both on boards that the chairman said, but also in terms of running for township supervisor, county commissioner, state rep, state senator, all of these positions. And I would highly encourage you to do it, because the quality of the government you get is the quality of the government you're willing to put into it, at least in our society. So just add that and hope that you will seriously think about doing that.
And I guess to piggyback on that, 31 years ago when I was sitting on that side, I never in my wildest dreams thought I would get involved in politics. It wasn't me, but I saw the need and I had the desire to try to contribute to the community. So you never, at this time you might say no way, but you never know. That door might open, and certainly would hope that you would all consider that. We will start on 3.0.
3.0. We have no TDA actions today, so we'll move to 4.0, personnel actions. Roxanne Greco, approved personnel action report.
Good morning, I'm Roxanne Greco, and I'm the Deputy Director of Human Resources. I'm also a graduate of Leadership Lycoming, class of 1990, while ago. Today we have for the Department of Public Safety and EMA, Craig D. Conkle, a reclassification as Emergency Management Specialist, pay grade 9, salary of $51,015.51, effective December 15th, 2019. At the prison, Tiffany Bartholomew as a full-time replacement, correctional officer, female relief, male/female, pay grade CO1, $16.81 an hour, effective December 16th, 2019. And finally, at the prison, Devin Bailey as a full-time replacement, correctional officer relief, pay grade CO1, $16.81 an hour, effective December 16th, 2019.
Thank you. Each of these positions that are personnel items the county has a list of all approved positions that we can hire during the course of the year, and it's called the TDA. And what's the
table of distribution?
Okay.
It lists all the departments, all the approved positions by the commissioners for budgeting purposes. And also on that, it would indicate the individual's name, the requirements for the position, education, as well as years experience needed for the position.
So when we have positions like this, we meet with the HR department on a weekly basis to talk about the hiring needs within the county, and most typically, as long as it is a listed position and the department director believes that we need to fill it, we will go along with that and put the position out there to be hired. But we continually challenge the department heads to try to find ways to do things differently and save on staffing costs when the opportunity presents itself.
You notice also that there's a lot of transparency here. I mean, you see, I dare say in your organizations, you don't see a listing each week of what people make. But transparency with public tax dollars is probably one of the most important rights that we have as taxpayers and as citizens, so I think that's something to notice. Oh, yeah, you might want to, one of the things that the board passed was OpenGov, which is a, thank you, which is a software program that places all of the county finances on the internet, so that you can actually go to Lycoming County, to our website, and click on the OpenGov, and you will see this year's budget, and actually it goes back several years.
Goes back 5 years, the history. It's an amazing tool, and it just became available in the last 3-4 weeks. But if you ever have time and you're sitting at home some night, yeah, you can pull it right up on your phone.
Right.
I mean, it's going to, it has a lot of history there now, and I just think it's going to be a great tool for the public to get more involved as we develop the tool out in the coming years.
Just as a tangential, Mr. Demi, are we live streaming now? No.
Today, yes, our attendees at this meeting have the privilege of being members of our first official, actually working live stream.
Yeah. So that's something else this board passed. This board passed live streaming so that if you can't make it to a meeting but you want to look at it later on the internet, you can do that, and it's another way to try to have both transparency and accountability. Those are the two key goals that help us run government better.
Is you missed your chance to get discovered.
At this time, we need a motion.
I'll move to approve the personnel actions as read by the deputy, Ms. Greco.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Let's see, 6.0. There is, we've already introduced the leadership class. There's one item that we're going to add as a 6.2. We just want to have some discussion amongst the commissioners on an item that is starting to pick up steam, and it's really moving here, is the possibility of investing in a new MDJ office, magistrate office up on Lycoming Creek Road. The current home that we've have on Lycoming Creek Road, I think we've been in that location for over 30 years. We have an opportunity to secure a new location, new building, something that we would own, where we're not paying a landlord. I think the commissioners, I was not present on Monday, but I think the commissioners and staff went out and looked at the property in question, and and also attended by our real estate consultant. It seems to be reasonably priced. We're going to sign paperwork to move in the direction of purchasing it. We need to put a $10,000 deposit down, and then we will do our due diligence with the help of our solicitor, which we, I guess, have failed to recognize, David Smith with the McCormick Law Firm. Yes, and our executive assistant down here, Eileen. We will give them both the opportunity to
Thank you, Commissioner. We are appointed, I am appointed as the county solicitor, which is effectively the general counsel for the county government and the Board of Commissioners. We provide general legal advice, and various of my partners and associates provide specific advice in specific areas related from anything starting with litigation to prison to landfill. I will acknowledge that Liz is one of our associates, and she hasn't yet been ensnared, but she will be an assistant solicitor at some point.
Eileen.
I'm Eileen Ebner. I'm new to the position of administrative manager. So 3 weeks I've been in this position. Prior to that, I was the executive secretary for the commissioners. Whatever they need, I'm here for.
And she's been doing a really great job, and we're really thankful to have you.
Thank you.
So I guess the other commissioners, if you guys just want to comment on the magistrate building.
As a commissioner, you're responsible, one of your main responsibilities is public safety. And whether it's the public, or sheriffs, deputies, or MDJs, we have to look at all of our facilities. As you can tell, in here, you came into this office and there was no metal detector. You know, typically there's a sheriff and he's hiding back there, a sheriff deputy. And, but MDJ offices are probably the most vulnerable. They don't have multiple egresses. They certainly don't have sheriff deputies in their rooms. But these can be very volatile situations, you know? And unfortunately, you know, we're responsible for taxpayers' money. And we only have so much money to invest. So each year we try to invest in another public safety project. This is one we've been trying to solve for the past 2.5 years. And I thank Judge Solomon for being patient with us, but finally we found a facility that can stay within our budget to meet the needs of not only the public, but the safety concerns with their staff.
So all three of us have looked at multiple buildings over the last 2.5 years, and obviously what Commissioner Macer said is you have to find a match that's both in the same location, because the magistrate judges can't just be anywhere. The state prescribes certain districts, just like they do with state representatives. There's a district that the magistrate is responsible for, and the president judge has determined that she would like those magistrates in those districts, so that you don't have someone having to go from Muncie to Newberry to see their magistrate, right? They go in the district they're in. And in this case, Magistrate Solomon is in the Newberry, Old Lycoming Township area. And we also needed to have certain police protections, which the Old Lycoming Township Police are able to deliver. But I think that Commissioner Macer raised a good point. We've been in the same location for 40 years. We obviously could have paying rent. We obviously could have probably bought the building twice on a 15-year mortgage and close to 3 times. So one of our goals is, as Chairman McKernan said, was to try to have something where we're not just paying rent. We're not necessarily interested in being landlords, but we certainly, if we can, save the taxpayers' money. And this opportunity presented to us, and we have placed an offer, and it looks as though that offer's been accepted.
And I would say that, you know, some people have made comments before that, well, why don't you consolidate? Why don't you get rid of an MDJ here or there? We don't have a choice in the matter. It's the requirement of the law that we have this facility. The facility that we're in obviously is old. It needs a lot of work. And, you know, we just don't want to go down the road of investing in something to the extent that we would have to when we don't even own the property. So I think it's a good investment of county dollars. It would have had to have been spent anyhow. And we've been working the Lycoming Creek Road for 2.5 years, looking at every opportunity as it presented itself, and this seems to be the best one, best choice for us at this time.
You know, Chairman McKernan brings up a good point, and it's the judicial branch of government. We have no control over how they run their operations. Okay, President Judge decides that. And likewise, with adult probation, the state was supposed to allocate funds. I think it was 67% of the cost of adult probation officers would come back to the county taxpayers. I truly believe, and this is another good example, that, you know, we have no control. If they want it, they're going to get it. But it should be paid for by the state. That's what I believe. You know, if we can't, we look after the best interest of our taxpayers. But if we can't control that, then maybe that responsibility for allocating those revenues should come from the state government and not county, which would put less of a burden on our tax base. So,
The two additional points that we should understand. We can't just go out and buy a building. The state law says that we have to have 2 appraisals done, and we can't pay more than what an independent appraiser determines the property is worth. So rest assured, the transaction that we're discussing now is not finalized. It's contingent on the appraisals, and it's contingent on a final vote of this board, but obviously we've made all the steps. The other thing that you made, just following up on Commissioner Messier, we have in Pennsylvania what's called a unified court system. And it's sort of a strange creature, because on the one hand, the state gives us the responsibility for funding the courts, although they provide some funds, they pay for the salaries of the judges, but we're responsible for all the buildings and everything. But at the same time, they don't give us any management authority over running the courts. Similarly, the courts have the management responsibility, but they don't have the financial flexibility. They literally have to come to us for funding. I don't know whether this was done by the state intentionally to create dissonance between the two groups, and in the sense that we've got different responsibilities and different parameters, or whether it was an outgrowth of something else. But there have been challenges. There have been at least 2 cases, I think, taken up to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, and it's unresolved, right? It's unresolved.
It remains a gray area, Commissioner.
Yeah. So we all work, and we try to play together in the sandbox very amicably.
Thank you. Okay, so that we will move on to action items.
Okay, 7.1, Maya Toon, approve agreement with Columbia County for inmate housing.
Morning, Commissioner.
Morning.
I'm Maya Toon. I'm the Chief Procurement Officer here for the county, and also a graduate of Leadership Lycoming in 2006. The first agreement before you is for Columbia County. It's for inmate housing. This is for out-of-county housing as needed for the prison at $70 per day.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
7.2, Maya Toon, approve retail advertising agreement with the Williamsport Sun-Gazette.
This is a bulk agreement with Williamsport Sun-Gazette for our advertising as needed for tax collection as well as the sheriff's office. Again, we're going with our annual bulk agreement of 3,000 inches.
You need a motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Maya Toon, approve contracts under $10,000 for the month of November.
This is a list of contracts that were approved by the Director of Administration, which were below $10,000 for the month of November, and there were 8 of them.
Thank you. Need a motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. And I would like to give Commissioner Marabito a report, which is read at the end of each month, lists any contract that is under $10,000. Anything that is under $10,000, we're not required to go out and get bids and do those kind of things, but we tried to institute another piece of transparency that you could go and pull these at any time and see where your tax dollars are being spent. Most of them, it appears, most of them this month were all professional service items.
Correct.
And it tends, at least from what I've seen this year, earlier in the year, the list is bigger. We're down to 8 items right now. But it was a nice addition to what we report on.
And the mention of Mr. McDermott, who's not here, but you can see his title there. He's not here today, but he's the Chief Clerk, Director of Administration. So he does the day-to-day work for the commissioners in terms of making sure that the processes move forward. And we actually, as commissioners, set the $10,000 level. We could set a lower level, but we try to do it to be able to keep things moving. The other thing I just want to mention is, it seems as though we're going through these sort of in a perfunctory manner today. We've had a meeting on Tuesday, which you could explain, Mr. Chairman, what happened Tuesday, but we already had a meeting Tuesday where a lot of these issues were discussed in more detail. And so that's why, for example, on the county inmate housing, we went through how much we've spent. And these contracts, a lot of them are not contracts that are contracts that set an amount spent. It sets a price, but allows us to use the service if we need it. So we may have no one that we pay under the Columbia County contract, or we may have 20 inmates in the course of the next year.
Yes, a lot of them are up to amounts, and some of them are specific dollar amounts that we might pay for a service if we need it. So we put these things in place so that if the department has the need, they don't have to muddle around trying to get a service. They've already got it in place and can move out with that. Our work sessions are held on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Here in this room, typically in the back, where we go into the agenda for Thursday and get into more detail and ask the questions. And sometimes it is something they've got to go back and do a little more homework on before we get to Thursday, or if it's a big enough issue, it might get pulled off the agenda and come back at a later time. I do think the intention is that, are the Tuesday meetings going to be, I'm not, live streamed? Is that the?
I think so.
Is that the plan?
Yeah,
okay.
I think so.
Okay. But the whole live stream thing is a new item to us as well. Anyhow, so let's see. Did we vote on that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So we're good then. Thank you.
Thank you.
7.4, Beth Johnston, fourth amendment to the agreement with Citizens and Northern Bank for primary deposit bank services.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Morning to you all. I'm a 2006 graduate of leadership as well. It was the time that we needed to amend some of our Citizens and Northern agreements, not only for the primary deposit side, but also the trust side. We have Mr. Sam Lush here from Citizens and Northern. He is their Vice President and Regional Manager. He wants me to do all the talking. The First Amendment is lowering the required balance in the general fund from $15 million to $8 million. Funds in excess of $8 million will be swept daily to earn interest. The additional $7 million will increase the county's annual investment earnings by at least $100,000 or more. And our third-party investment firm was a big part of this, major part of these negotiations.
One of the things the county's tried to do in the last year and a half is to take a look at putting the idle cash reserves to work a little bit more, and this is just part of the process. I think we have a good partner with Citizens in Northern that they've been agreeable and offered. They know what we're trying to do, and they've offered to to help us meet our goal of increasing the interest income that we're able to get out of our cash that is sitting on the sidelines waiting to be used.
This is actually my colleagues being very modest. This is an example of how you can actually make a difference. Chairman McKernan brought this to the commissioners as a result of, I think, going to one of the CCAP conferences. We all sort of had been exposed to the guy, but Commissioner McKernan had really pushed it. And as a result of pushing this 3+1, which is a company that we hired to invest our liquid cash, which before this had just sort of been sitting in sort of lower paying accounts, and of course with the wonderful cooperation of CNN. But that's an example of how you can really make some change, and you know, that's what Commissioner Massera was talking about. You only have to convince one other person, whereas in the legislature in Harrisburg you've got to convince like 150. But he convinced both of us. And it's very important because it's resulting in this year how much money more is coming in? 2 million?
Oh, yeah, 1.4
additional funds. Think about that.
And Citizens Northern's been a great partner for the county as well.
Right.
We appreciate everything you've done. I actually thought you were with Leadership Lycoming. But what year
I
did you
did, I
graduate?
did too.
I just snuck in. They wouldn't have me. Well, I think it's a mutual, we work well as a team, and I joked with Beth, I'm the last one that should be here because our team, Candy and Philip and Beth and Michelle, they work great. A lot of management goes on, and it's certainly a team between our two organizations, which has been great over the years. So, and we appreciate working with the county. So.
And just to give you an idea, you know, we were somewhere around $240,000 a year in some of the interest. Right? Now we're, just this year alone, we're at 2.4 million. That's a lot of revenue. Okay. Yeah, we do have a lot of cash. Some of it's restricted, some of it's not. But just to let it sit there and make nominal amounts, we appreciate, again, Jack McKernan for bringing it to the county, your due diligence, Beth, and your department for keeping us up to date on the investments.
Beth, I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you know if, I think the projection for next year is about 1.5 million in interest income. Did we work that into the budget the proposed 2020 budget?
Yes,
Is that
we would do, yes.
that is in there? Okay. Thank you. Need a motion?
You want to take all of them together?
Well, there are a couple different, some of them are a little different.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I'll move to approve the Fourth Amendment to the agreement with Citizens in Northern.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
7.5, Citizens of Northern Bank Wealth Management Fee Agreement for account numbers 4820, 4084, 3616.
These three accounts are on the trust side of our Citizens in Northern accounts. They are funds for the post and field closure requirements of our county landfill. This agreement is reducing the management fee from .002 to .0015 and retroactively effective as of December 1st. So
Thank
we're going
you.
to save some funds on fees.
Thank you. Need a motion?
I'll move.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
7.6, Citizens in Northern Investment Policy Statement, Schedule B, for account number 4820.
The next three can you handle?
Yes, I was just going to ask. The next three can go together.
And
The investment policy statements are the guidelines given by the county to the fund managers of those trust accounts on the types of allowable securities per county code and DEP, and the length of maturity. As an example, post-closure care, we can go out farther. And just to give a little trivia, post-closure care for RMS or landfill is after the landfill closes. and you have to keep it open for 30 years. So you're required to save up money so that you have it by the time you close your doors. Because you're still gonna have people up there working to keep the fields covered. And the insurance fund, which is a little smaller, $267,000, that's more or less fund that we can use, maybe our regular insurance fund can cover. We want to dip into that first. And the field closure is different from post closure, because field closure is when we actually start closing the fields, which we have started closing fields 1 through 4. Those funds are used for field closures.
Thank you, Beth. To our guest from CNN, a question. The other day, noticed on the executive summary that it has a client type listed as individual investor. Should that maybe be government, or?
I can have them change it. It's just a nuance. It probably came up in that Word doc before.
Okay.
In that it's an individual entity, not.
Okay.
Maybe, but we'd be happy to change it.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we were on the right page there. Okay, so we will take item 7.6, 7.7, 7.8 as a motion.
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd just like to add is that I hear that there was people in like leadership like Lycoming that represented the bank here. Yeah. Okay, so just remember, I mean, we appreciate everything that's happening here, and you know, a 0.015% difference makes a lot when it comes to money and millions of dollars. So.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
7.9, Michael Natton, approve addendum to drop-off recycling service agreement with the Borough of Freiburg.
We group all 5 of them together?
And
or-
yes, I think we can take 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 as one.
Good. This is my personal best for 9 items on the commissioner's list. I'm Michael Natton. I'm a professional engineer. I work over the landfill. If you have questions about the landfill and recycling, don't worry. During your tenure at the Lycoming, you get to come over for a visit. They get to torment you for an hour and a half. So I'll give you more information about the landfill and recycling than you probably want to know.
Thank you.
Okay, these 5 agreements, what we do is we actually provide drop-off services for these 5 municipalities. And we did an evaluation, and we charged them per pull, which means they have a large container there that the citizens can drop the recycling in, and there's a cost for us. And of course, the cost for driving a large truck over there and picking it up and bringing it back to our facility for processing has increased a bit. And so we're just adjusting these 5 prices.
Thank you. And I do think that this idea of charging a fee started sometime in the last 4 years. I believe it was one of the things we've done and tried to increase the fee where we saw appropriate, because recycling, the landfill does handle what, 11 counties or 6 counties? 6 counties. But you know, we feel we should be trying to at least break even on providing the services to these other communities that are outside of Lycoming County. At this time, if we could get a motion.
I'll move to approve action items 7.9, 7.10, 7.11, 7.12, and 7.13.
Thank you. All in favor?
I'll second that.
Oops, excuse me. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
7.14, Michael Natton, approve purchase of rain flap for Field 12 in the amount of $96,962.
Commissioners, this is actually a change order for the construction of Field 12 that we're currently constructing. Because of the weather, and we made a slight design change where we can control the amount of stormwater that was entering the landfill. So we asked the approved contractor for a change, that they're going to be installing a rain flap, and it will allow the stormwater to be diverted into stormwater instead of creating leachate, which would be a considerable cost for the landfill.
Thank you. I guess the one other thing I'd like to note, and when you do the tour with RMS and Mike and the crew, you can ask more, but the landfill is the only part of county government that's known as an enterprise fund. It's basically, it's run as a business within the county, but it has county backing on everything that it does. So that the requirements are that it is kind of run as a arm of the county, and they have to make things very public and very transparent, but it is run as a business, and we try our best to make it operate as a business, and it is a very strong cash provider for the county of Lycoming, and we're very fortunate to have it because there are not that many government-run landfills in the state. So, you know, we as citizens are fortunate to have it being operated here in Lycoming County.
And I'd like to add that taxpayers receive about $7 a ton. So it's about $2 million that the landfill gives us in revenue, taxpayers. This is a considerable chunk of change, and it comes in as an expense on their account. So sometimes when you see their balance sheets, it seems like they're not making money, but we take X amount of money from a year, and that's a pretty expensive rain flap there. But another thing that's very interesting about the county landfill, and if you do go over and see it, water is very important, you know, when it comes to our turbines and our generation of power. You know, it produces more methane, and we turn that into dollars. Matter of fact, I think it's about $1 million a year that our landfill produces from that. And if we were to limit the amount of water that goes on that landfill, that would reduce the production, correct?
That's correct, yeah. I should point out, too, that we are the only county-run landfill in all of Pennsylvania, so we're very unusual. We've been here since 1978. And also that these expenses, that they're $96,000, that were, even for these contracts, they come from the user fees of the people that are utilizing our facility. It's not tax dollars.
Yeah, the $2 million that Commissioner Massare mentioned is after the landfill pays all the employees, the health, the pension, and everything. So that doesn't come out of tax dollars. And what Mr. Natton is talking about is the fact that 80% of the waste comes from outside the county. The county citizens put in about 20% of the waste, so 80% of the waste is coming from the 5 other counties, and it's being turned into a financial benefit for our taxpayers. By the way, how long have you been here?
Just over 26 years.
Yeah, and Miss Toon, is she still here? She left. She's been here 15 years. Beth, how long have you been here? One of the things you'll notice is that the tenure of county employees is very high. People stay a long time.
Thank you. Need a motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
7.15, approve amendment number 1 to agreement with C.H. Reed.
Good morning, Commissioners. C.H. Reed is a contractor we use to service any of our air compressor kind of equipment that we need. So this is on an ad basis. What C.H. Reed did is that each year we have our contractors supply us with the new rates for 2020. Just establishing the new rates for 2020. It's approximately about 3% increase over 2019.
Thank you. Need a motion?
So
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
7.16, agreement with Murraysville Machinery Company for preventative and scheduled maintenance, emergency repairs, and certified inspection work.
Morning, Commissioners. The Murraysville machine is a contractor we use for more of our crushing operations. This is on an as-needed basis. If there's a repair to the crushing equipment that we can't handle in-house, we'll have the approved rates. And basically, we've had an existing contract with them, so they're just telling us what their 2020 rates are going to be.
Thank you. Need a motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
And 7.17, approve agreement with Dell Marketing LP to provide ongoing maintenance to Dynamics SL accounting software.
So not only physical equipment, but there's a considerable financial and accounting burden we have over at the landfill. And we have a special software from Dell Marketing. And basically, if we need support for that software for 2020, we're just updating those prices from Dell Marketing. There's an annual fee, and then if we need on-site service, they're just establishing rates now, so we know exactly what they're going to charge us.
Thank you. Need a motion?
I'll move to approve.
A second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
7.18, Tom Heap, software maintenance agreement with Harris Local Government.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Are we doing introductions, I guess?
Yes.
I came in late, I'm sorry. My name is Tom Heap. I run the collections office, the central collections office for the County of Lycoming. Under that umbrella I'm the Director of Assessment for Real Estate Taxes, collection of delinquent real estate taxes. The Tax Administration Department falls under us, and also criminal cost fines collections for DUIs and stuff. So obviously nobody wants to come see me. So it's a big office that we have. What's on the agenda today is a software maintenance agreement and print services renewal to cover our tax packages for the County of Lycoming. So this agreement will run for the 2020 year. There is a slight increase of $565 total for the year. And it's with the company Harris Local Government and Infocon, which Infocon in Lycoming County have had a relationship for 31 years now. So this is our annual renewal agreement.
Tom, what position are you taking in the beginning of the year?
I am the prothonotary clerk of courts elect. So after the first of the year, I'll be sworn in as the county prothonotary clerk of courts.
And how many years have you been with the county?
I started in 1992 as a very young kid. And Leah was on the agenda today. She was going to cover. Leah has been my assistant for 23 of those years.
Wow.
So her and I have been together for a long time.
Well, you both, and you all do a great job over there, and we greatly appreciate it. It's a lot of money you have to keep track of, and it's sometimes in difficult circumstances when people are not able to pay their property taxes. And you have always tried to work, and the county's policy has been to try to work to keep people in their homes.
And that will continue, sure.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Need a motion?
I'll move to approve.
A second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
7.19, Leslie Kilpatrick, approve amendment to agreement with Clear Ballot Group Incorporated for the county's voting system equipment.
Good morning, morning Commissioners.
Morning.
I'm Leslie Kilpatrick from Information Services. I'm the System Support Manager. We take care of anything technology in Lycoming County. I'm here to present approval for a Clear Ballot central scan system for voter services. This central scanner will help us with the no excuse mail-in voting that the governor passed right before the November election. It's the Act 77, if anyone wants to look it up. And it is 60% reimbursable from the state.
And that was an act that the legislature passed and the governor signed,
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
right?
Thank
Act
you.
77.
Thank you.
Which made a lot of changes to the way people can vote.
Thank you. Need a motion?
I moved.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And then Leslie Kilpatrick, 7.20, second amendment to agreement with Marco Technologies LLC.
Commissioners, this is just an agreement to renew or change the start date for our copier lease from April to July, so it coincides with the payments.
So this is really interesting. You can see why people say sometimes things take a while in government. Every change, just changing the date, has to go, the document has to be presented at a public meeting, it has to be vetted beforehand, it has to be voted on. But that's probably important, right? Because you don't want, if any of you remember back out in Los Angeles, somebody was paying themselves $900,000 a year. I see someone shaking their head, it was in the news. You know, this is why we have transparency, because it keeps people informed.
Thank you. Need a motion?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thanks, Commissioner.
Thank you. At this time, we do have a few other people in the audience that work within the county, and I would like to give them the opportunity, and we'll start over here on the right-hand side, our Deputy Controller. If you would just introduce yourself and give us a little background.
Sure. I'm Nikki Brelsford. I've been with the county for 10 years now. I'm the Deputy Controller. Our office handles payroll, accounts payable, all the contracts that were approved today, they come to our office for storage. I handle the retirement fund for our county employees. We do the accounting work and the auditing work. And I'm class of 2015.
You're a new mother.
And I am. I have a almost 8-week-old at home. Thank you.
I think in the back row, Brandy and Carl.
I'll follow you. I'll stand in line behind you.
Okay, I'm Brandy Clemens. I'm the Deputy Director of Fiscal Services, and our main responsibility is cash management, debt management, and the budget for the county. And this meeting is actually the meeting that was scheduled for public comment on our budget. So the floor will be open after the meeting for anybody that has any comments. And our budget should be on the next public meeting, which is next Thursday, the 19th, for approval. And I've been with the county 10 years.
Thank you.
Yes, my name's Carl Demai. I'm the Director of Information Services for Lycoming County. Leslie reports to me, thank God, so I have somebody to tell me what to do. Sometimes she tells me where to go, but we won't talk about that. Under the Information Services Department, we control all the computer systems in the county, as Leslie indicated. Today is our first successful live stream of this meeting, and so we're thankful for that. We're also in charge of voter services, our records retention center, all our county phone systems, our county print shop, which we used to print our own ballots for this past election, saving the county a significant amount of money there. And we've had some great accomplishments this past year, including purchasing a brand new election system and using it for the first election this fall. And we didn't make any headlines, so that was great. We've also had some other major accomplishments, as mentioned by the commissioners. The Open Gov project has gone live with a lot of help from our fiscal department. They're largely responsible for that success. And we've got more to come in that area that we're still working on. We finished implementing an upgrade to our financial system, which has been huge. We've been working on it for over 2 years. And we finally come to a conclusion on that. So, yes, we're really moving forward here with technology, even though we've come a long way. I've got to tell you, I've worked here for 19 years and 9 months now. And when I came on board, we were running every operating system known to man, every word processor, every spreadsheet software package we're running. Our voting system still depended on a DOS application back in 2000. So we've come a long way because we've standardized on Microsoft Office. We had our commissioners back in 2000 couldn't open a document that the landfill had done because they didn't have compatible software. So we've established standards. We're all using Microsoft Office. We're all running Windows. We're in the midst of upgrading to Windows 10, trying to beat the January 14th deadline yet. We've got a ways to go, but we are on track. So, yeah, we're pretty proud of what we've accomplished in the county, and we're very happy that along the way through the years, all boards of commissioners have stood behind us, supported us at getting the job done here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Carl. Is there anybody else we've missed? And I do, as I depart at the end of the year, Commissioner-elect Metzger is in the back of the room, and I don't know, Scott, if you have any comments you'd like to make.
I worked for the county for 32 years. I worked in probation, adult probation. I was the deputy chief in the probation office. I also have a real estate business in Toursville. I'm looking forward to coming on board back with the county and my new role. So thank you, and I thank the current board for what they've done.
Thank you. I won't call them out by name, but we do, since we are a public meeting, we always have the press, and we reserve the back table for those from the media that care to come and sit in at the meeting. We also have one of the Lycoming County's finest with us today, and I don't know how long have you been with the county? And
I've been here, I'll be 16 years, December 24th.
State your name.
Jason, I'm Sergeant Jason Sparks.
Thank you. Thank you, Sergeant. I think we've covered everybody. At this time, any commissioner comment? Hearing none. Any public comment? And I do think that we did want to open up this morning, Beth, on any public comment on the budget display. If there was anything, we were going to take some notes and be prepared to address them next week. I also believe that when we present the budget for 2020 next week, it was put out on public display, if I recall, maybe around the 21st of November. And that is online. The final budget that will be presented next week, any changes that have been made to the original public display will be discussed at next week's meeting. I do think there's probably a dozen or so, roughly, changes that have been made, some going up, some going down. But that will take place at next week's meeting. If there are no comments on the budget, any public comments at all? And if there are no public comments, Harry.
I'd be remiss not to say something, because I've been thinking about it standing back there, and I just wanted to say, Jack, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
On behalf of the class leadership, and too often now, we don't thank our elected leaders enough. It is a sacrifice, and the class is learning that today a little bit, but on a personal end, I just want to say thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Harry. Thank you. I guess we should use this opportunity. Are there any questions from the class before we conclude the meeting? Hearing none, seeing none. Our next work session will be on Tuesday, the 17th at 10 a.m. in this room, followed by our last meeting of the year will be Thursday, the 19th at 10 a.m. in this room. And at this point, we'll adjourn the meeting.